This is how I made my one piece pumpkin carving. Don't mind me punching. So for this project, I used a really long pumpkin that looks good on its side, where it's kind of flat on the side so that I could lay it down easy. And I didn't use a template from online. I just kind of guesstimated how they should look and practiced on copy paper. And I made one bigger sail, which is the one that I'm tracing now. And I made one slightly smaller sail, which I traced on the other side. And I used a washable Crayola green marker so that after I carve it, I can just like wipe it off. Because I didn't carve an opening like a normal jack-o'-lantern, it was tricky to get this piece out, so I just carved a half circle above my carving to like just basically take it out like a door. And of course I didn't have to worry about the other side because I can just poke my hand through that hole to poke this piece out. And here's some pumpkin carving ASMR for y'all. So for the sides, I also guesstimated my template. I did see that there were some pirate ship jack-o'-lanterns online that people have done before. So I just kind of looked that up and see what was the best shape. And I just cut out this simple symmetrical stairway looking shape by just folding my paper in half. And again, I traced it with washable green markers and started carving away. So here's more pumpkin ASMR. And here I'm just tracing some windows, and they were kind of tricky to carve because they were so small, and I almost messed it up several times, but I made it work. And now I just got to pop, pop, pop. So the Jolly Rogers was kind of tricky, and I wanted it to be as symmetrical as possible and centered on the pumpkin piece. So I drew a line in the middle, up and down, and an X across it so that I had a guide. And I didn't use a template, but I just kind of like drew on copy paper until it looked like the way I wanted it to look, and then I cut those pieces out. And if you guys are really good at observing, you'll notice that these are not the original pumpkin pieces that I carved earlier. Like, these are not the original sailboats or sails. And that's actually because I messed up on the Jolly Rogers. Again, like I said, they were kind of tricky to carve. I just want to put it out there that I've never done a pumpkin carving where you only take the skin out. So I don't know if I'm doing this the most professional or the most efficient way, but all I did is use a very sharp tool to trace around the lines. I also use a X-Acto knife to help me with it, and then I grabbed a tool like this. I don't know the name of this tool, but it was part of my clay tool, and it helped me like go inside the pumpkin and lift it up like a shovel. I wish I had a better name for it. Like, so basically I kind of like scraped, shoveled it. Again, I don't even know the technical terms for what the heck that I am doing here. As you can see here, I retraced again with a X-Acto knife, and then I cut small pieces with the X-Acto knife so that it's easier to carve, peel, scrape off, instead of accidentally peeling more pieces that I wanted. But yeah, that's what I did. I don't know if this is helpful, or maybe it's more helpful that you get to see what I'm doing. But yeah, that's what I did. Because I lost all my markings, I just based the crossbone on the nose, because the nose was the most center piece that I had. And so thankfully that worked out to make it as symmetrical as possible and as centered as possible. And I also want to add that throughout this whole Jolly Rogers carving process, I was really nervous because I didn't want to mess it up. Like I was acting like I was a surgeon, and I kept my hand as steady as possible, because I already messed up the first Jolly Roger sale, and I didn't want to go buy another pumpkin just to replace this sale that was already replacing the original sale. And no, I didn't buy this pumpkin. This one was already there. I mean, I already had another pumpkin, thankfully. But I think it turned out great. The second sale was the most satisfying and the most simple carving that I had to do, because they were just stripes. I just had to, like, carve up and down, and then I made little incisions across the stripe I was carving off just to make it easier for me. Because it's easier to work with like a little piece at a time versus the whole stripe. And then for the head, the face, I used a sugar pumpkin. It's much smaller than the big pumpkin that I got for the whole ship. And I just drew the face the best that I can and carved it diagonally so that it can kind of like hang the way I wanted it to hang, for the face to face the way I wanted it to face. I got these two little white pumpkins for the horn, and it was a lot of trial and error to make it work. I know I could have done better and planned it better, so like it took me a long time to make it work. So for the first sale, I originally used a skewer, but it was too weak to hold this heavier piece. So my husband helped me out by adding a sturdier wood piece and using metal wire and twine to fortify it. And thankfully for the second sale, the skewer was good enough for it because it wasn't too heavy. And yes, I skewered myself twice working on this. And then I grabbed the rest of the other pumpkin pieces to make this foundation. I added 2 holes, as you have seen, and put it on the bottom of my big pumpkin ship to stick the sails in so that it doesn't flop over. And if you see here, I could have done a better planning with the head, but this is what I had to work with, and I used a bunch of skewers to make it work. And now we're gonna put all the pieces together, starting with the main Jolly Rogers sail. And then of course, the little striped sail. And that is how I made this Going Merry one-piece pumpkin carving. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it.